Senator Roberts has the call. Senator Roberts.
Thank you. I seek leave to add my name to this motion, and I wish to make a few comments. First of all, the people of Australia, congratulations, you've won. You won. You put so much pressure on the Uni Party, you won. They folded. 4 years ago, I came out against this bill 4 years ago, and it's been a slog ever since. That's when the Morrison-Joyce Liberal National Party introduced it. And just make some comments there. This is a part of a package. Misinformation, Disinformation Bill, Digital Identity, Identity Verification Bill, under 16 ban from social media, Reserve Bank of Australia working on a digital currency that will be connected to a global digital currency. 5 components of a package towards social credit. Second point, that package is being put by both the major parties, Liberal, Nationals and Labor. Third point, it's connected to implementation of a similar package around the world in many other nations right now. It's led to the jailing of 150 people in the United Kingdom, the arrest and the arrest of 150 people in the United Kingdom with jail for some. In the United Kingdom, simply for making comments dissenting against the British government. This Misinformation Disinformation Bill had some worthy sections on regulating the tech giants, but it was primarily about censorship and censoring the Australian people. One Nation supports a referendum to include freedom of speech, enshrine freedom of speech in our Constitution. One Nation supports legislation to mandate to enable free speech, to make free speech sacrosanct so that no state can trump it. One Nation wants to appeal 18C. This has come out of 18C, which is scandalous. There's some of the basics. I'll read components, part of my dissenting report on the Senate's inquiry into this bill. First of all, I thank the witnesses for their submissions and for attending the hearings. Many, many, many witnesses. Thank you, Australia. The original committee report into the Communications Legislation Amendment Combating Misinformation and Disinformation Bill 2024 flew in the face of the expert evidence the committee had received across 3 days of hearings into the bill. Just completely smashed it, completely reversed it. But with the tide of views, the torrent of views, the tidal wave of views from across Australia, the committee changed. Wonderful. A committee inquiry should not perform the function of gift-wrapping a decision which has already been taken. A committee inquiry should have the role of deciding if the decisions taken in the bill are correct. The first report did not do that fundamental thing. For three days, the committee heard from human rights advocates and stakeholders who all criticised this bill on human rights grounds and added warnings the bill would backfire. That's what the committee heard almost unanimously. It's extraordinary the committee would choose to ignore the recommendations of the very people who they invited to attend to advise them on this matter. Only when the public turned savagely against the government was the committee report changed at the last minute to reflect today's motion. The action of the committee to that point will make it harder for any Senate inquiry in the future to attract the quality of witnesses this inquiry attracted. Censorship was the purpose of this bill. Censorship was the purpose of the committee report. The criticism of the bill was well placed. Human rights. The Human Rights Commission questioned a basic foundation of the bill, the definition of information. In the explanatory memorandum, the term is intended to include opinions, claims, commentary and invective. This is from my dissenting report. The Human Rights Commission stated, quote, "Considerable caution should be exercised before including opinions and commentary within the scope of information, as this significantly broadens the potential reach of this legislation and increases the risk of it being used to censor legitimate debate about matters of public importance." That is profound. That is a bedrock of a democracy. One nation, end of quote. One nation agrees with this concern. The bill misconstrues human rights as relative, indeed as subordinate to the need of government to suppress opinions they don't like. That's what you tried to do. That's what you tried to do. The Human Rights Law Centre recommended Clause 11E should be amended to reflect a broader commitment to human rights in the bill's objectives. They also recommended the Australian Human Rights Commission should be consulted on the development of codes. Consulted, that'd be nice. Several submissions related to the specific areas of misinformation. The Australian Medical Professional Society submitted, quote, "By centralising control over what constitutes medical truth in the hands of government regulators, we risk creating an even more Orwellian twist in a system that is already subject to manipulation by powerful interests, to further suppress inconvenient facts and legitimate debate. This would be disastrous not only for free speech and democracy, but for public health as well. People's lives depend on this, and you wanted to stop it." End of quote. By the way, the report failed to address a critical failing in the debate around COVID, namely that information presented as medical truth at the time has been proven to be wrong. Not only wrong, completely contradicting the reality, completely contradicting the truth. And information banned as misinformation has now been proven to be true, repeatedly. On the issue of COVID messaging, One Nation has maintained a contrary position to the government of the day since 2020. This followed expert testimony from multiple specialists, research doctors and whistleblowers, which contradicted the official narrative. The implication is simple. What is misinformation one day is truth the next. This is the danger in the government deciding what is and is not misinformation. The bias will always be in favour of the government's truth. A fundamental question I asked to every witness on the last day of the hearing: who is the arbiter of truth? No one could say who is specified as the arbiter of truth in the bill. They all said it would default to ACMA. Other provisions: religious freedom, inauthentic behaviour, media literacy. But, you know, the fundamental thing is this was an attempt by the Labor Party to build on the Liberal Party's previous attempts at censorship by corralling misinformation under their definition and then driving the social media organisations, the big tech companies, to ram it down people's throat. That was what you were doing, and I'm pleased to see that the people of Australia have put the brake on you. Now I just appeal to the people of Australia to keep the foot on their throat, because we must stop the banning of under 16-year-old people from social media.